Welcome back to the Active Life Podcast, the number one podcast by fitness professionals for fitness professionals. My name's Larry, and we have another very special guest today, Nathan Greener. And Nathan, I'm excited to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on.
The reason that I wanted to have you on is you are in a very, this is going to sound weird, but a very special position in the arc of your career, because I think it's very common that someone can share their success story having made it, and in the interest of full candor and vulnerability, you are not where you want to be yet.
No.
What I think is so beautiful about that is that you are in a position where you are early in realizing how legitimate this career will be for you based on the actions you're taking now. And you've been vulnerable enough to say it's nowhere near where it needs to be yet. You're not in the kind of strong position you want to be. But for the first time in, what are we talking about, 4 years now? Your career is about 4 years old?
Yeah.
3?
5.
5?
Yeah.
For the first time in 5 years, you've hockey sticked on the graph of how clear and confident you are about what you're going to have for some actions that you've taken. The reason I think that's so important to share is that, as we both know, we were just talking about it, 80% of people who enter this industry leave in the first 2 years of doing it. You're 5 years in, you've obviously loved it enough to stay in it, and you realize now why this is going to be, without a doubt for you, correct me if I'm wrong, the kind of long-term, legitimate, fulfilling, profitable career that's going to allow you to plan for family, houses, vacation, investment, etc. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. You're 5 years into this. Can you share the backstory of like how you got into this? Why was this something you decided to start doing?
Like coaching as a whole?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think I always knew I wanted to coach or work with people, help people in some way. I guess a little backstory, I thought I actually wanted to be a auto mechanic.
Okay.
And
very different.
Yeah. And so I've been fortunate to have done a lot of co-ops and field placements, so get some lots of experience while going through school and that. And
in the auto industry?
Well, it started in the auto industry. In
Okay.
high school, I did 6 months, and so last year of high school, I was ready to apply to be a mechanic, and did 6 months there, and I was like, not for me.
Interesting.
And so I was like, all right,
That's smart for you to do.
yeah. And at that point, I was very passionate about fitness. Knew I wanted to so I was rowing in high school. Wanted to come back and coach the team a little bit. And then I wanted to, and I was lifting weights.
So you're in college now?
I was about to go into college, and I needed to apply.
You knew you wanted to coach the rowing team before you even left college?
Left high school.
Wow.
I had good coaches, and I knew I wanted to coach. I didn't know what I wanted to coach,
Wow.
what I wanted to do.
Okay.
But now I was lifting, and I was pretty quickly better at lifting than I was the rowing, and I liked it more. And so I started coaching the rowing team, and I didn't want to do the co-op or the auto, so I applied for fitness at college. And in Canada, college is a little different than university, so it's like a diploma program, 2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
I see. So this is like an exercise science kind of thing for 2 years?
Kind of health, wellness, fitness.
Understood.
And so I did 2 years there right after high school, instead of being a mechanic, which was the best thing I ever did.
Okay.
Had lots of kind of mentors, and I actually met my first mentor in my second year of college. I also started CrossFit at that time.
So this is 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
This was about 5.
Oh, no.
About
this
5
is
years ago.
5 years ago. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm kind of 18, just starting CrossFit. Got my first mentor, which is Ashley Werner. And so now I'm coaching. At that point, I knew of CrossFit, always wanted to do it. Kind of a different outlook for something that wasn't just endurance, something that was also strength.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. So started coaching classes. I'm in school, so before graduating that diploma, I got my personal training certificate. Started doing some personal training just a little bit.
Okay. Where were you doing that?
This is still at CrossFit Conquer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
So you're doing it in that gym where you were coaching?
In the gym.
Nice.
Yeah. So coaching more classes than anything, but now doing a little bit of personal training.
Okay.
And so doing that at CrossFit Conquer, getting some reps in, realizing now this is what I want to do. Don't know exactly what that's going to look like.
But there's a turning point here where you realized I want to take this seriously.
Yeah.
What was that? What made you realize that you wanted to take this seriously?
Good question. I think going through the school too, I had some good mentors, the faculty, and I knew that I guess I knew right away I wanted to take it seriously. That was always the goal.
Okay.
And then once it was clear of like, okay, I think it's the personal training that I really like and want to.
What
take
were you
that
drawn
seriously.
to about that?
I saw the impact, and it was just different. I knew at that point, actually, it had come across you guys a little bit, and I knew there was between that and then coming to know, how little I knew, even just 2 years of school, knew I needed more. And I knew I was going to have to kind of keep going down and keep seeking out more knowledge to be able to solve kind of more for my clients. So like after those 2 years of college, went to university, then did a degree in kinesiology.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that this is a point that's really important to break down, because I want you to imagine yourself. So you're 18, 19, 20 here, right?
Yeah.
You're 24 now, soon to be 25.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine yourself then, because there are a lot of guys out there like you right now who are in a position where fitness has had a huge impact on their life.
Yeah.
The pursuit of their own fitness has been a game changer for them.
Yes.
I remember when I started late, but when I was 19 or 20, or whenever I started pursuing fitness, I remember it being central to my life. Like it was the thing you looked forward to, right?
Absolutely.
Going to the gym was like church. So I think that there are a lot of guys that are in your position where you realize this is pretty amazing. I want to just spend my time in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you were in a position where you got a little bit of a coaching gig. Amazing. You can now start to help people in the ways that you've helped yourself.
Yep.
And you first catch this bug of, I want to just live here. How did you decide, I'm going to make this the thing? Like, was there anything more than you just knowing that you wanted to spend time doing that? Or was it more like this crystal clarity on the business that you wanted to have? How did you make that decision?
Yeah, no, I don't know. And I think I battle it a little bit because I like doing it just myself, my own training.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think I've always wanted to like help bring that to others too. And I also knew, like, selfishly, like going through it myself, I was like, like the more I learn, the more I can help myself.
I see.
And then I was like, and I was just like, it kind of started as I was just seeking out all the knowledge for myself.
Yeah.
And then it kind of became something where I was like, I think I'd like to shift and, still do this for myself, but like really do this professionally and help others.
So at about the same time, you catch this itch where you realize, all right, this stuff is the best. I really need to understand this more deeply.
Yeah.
I want to go all in on knowledge on this stuff. And what if I could actually do this professionally?
Yeah.
So that happens at about the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, I think after college, I felt pretty prepared to
after the
work
2-year
the 2-year
thing.
diploma.
Okay.
So after the 2-year diploma, that was very practical, but I knew I was still missing a lot of the knowledge.
Did you have a long-term career goal at this point, or a vision, or you were just kind of going through one step at a time?
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't exactly have like this is where I'll be. I basically just knew after trying the auto thing, I was like, I'm really passionate about health.
It's not cars.
It's not cars. Not cars. I'm not lifting tires my whole life. I'd like to lift a lot of weight.
Just going to hit them with hammers.
That's right. So yeah, no, I was just like, I'm just going to keep going through it. Like, I find that's like, just hit my head against the wall type mentality. But yeah, I was just going to keep going through it. And every time I saw something better that made more sense, still going towards the same goal, but like a little pivot, change of direction.
You're still coaching in the gym this whole time? Same gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
classes, a couple PTs?
Yeah, I'm down, not coaching many classes anymore.
Okay.
Couple PTs, mostly personal training.
Oh, nice. So you really start to shift towards one-on-one.
Yeah, that's been just in the past few months.
I see. Oh, okay. So it's relatively recently that you finished the 2-year university thing.
Yeah. So I did the 2-year diploma, and then I've done 4 years of university.
4 years.
So I've been in school for 6.
Wow. You're in school this whole time.
In this whole time.
Okay.
So, and that's where I knew what I wanted, and the schooling was just going to be the knowledge to better serve my clients. And so I did make a shift a little bit in the last 2 years of like doing a little bit reduced course load so that I could keep coaching.
I see.
Because like I knew a little bit of
the practical application, you really wanted to be there.
Yes. Because starting with that 2-year diploma where it was all practical. It was like immediately hands-on. You had more labs basically than lectures. That was awesome. And I loved that. And so that's where I felt like I got really good really fast. And then going to university where it was like, you're just going to sit in front of and just learn, right? Never apply.
Well, so for people who are thinking going back for formal higher education at university, I want people to make a reasoned decision for themselves in either direction. What would you say you gained from that? What would you say you didn't get that you realized you couldn't get there, so that people could decide for themselves, is that the route to go or not?
Yeah, I actually think about that, like whether if there was the option to, when I graduated the 2-year diploma in 2020, I had already done a couple continuing education courses at the time from you guys. ALP wasn't yet what it is now. If I could have done that and gone right into ALP, maybe I would already be, I don't know.
Is that because knowing what you know about it now, and I don't want to make it too much about our education now, but
no.
Is that just knowing what you know now just because of the immediate practical application for you that you were so drawn to?
I think so. I think it's the immediate practical application. And that's where, when I was just doing the theoretical like university degree, I had to be coaching to apply what I was learning.
So you just wanted to start doing?
Yes. And 100%. I don't regret. I like that I've done now the degree, because for me, like, I feel like the biomechanics really helps with like programming and assessing. And so for me, that alone was very worth it. And then you learn a little bit more too about like special populations. So I think it allows me to also go through some of the curriculum faster.
I see.
So it's kind of good that way.
Okay. So you don't really know what your long-term career goals are. You don't have a picture for what this is going to look like, but you know this is where you're going to be.
Yes.
So what happens next? You finish university.
Yeah. I think the career goals only became clear as of late, since enrolling, last few months.
What are you, 3 months in now? 4?
5, 6 already. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So going quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say? So right now you're in a position where you've been coaching for some time, but your clarity and your focus and your confidence on the trajectory of a legitimate career is only about 6 months old.
Yes, I would agree with that.
What is the vision for the career right now?
Yeah. Short term, like, I enjoy coaching the odd class, but, being full up with a like full-time personal training schedule. So, as I get more time, so I actually I'm not all the way graduated school just yet. I got a couple of courses to finish here. Wow. And doing the ALP. So it's good. I've kind of built up my roster as much as I can.
Wow.
And so I see as a couple of those finish off, a couple more clients come in.
I see. So it sounds like you have a very clear, you have a high sensitivity of this, like how much time and energy you have, and you're just like waiting for the responsibility to end for you to fill it with the thing that we want to do.
100%.
I see.
Yeah, I think that's what kept me from starting ALP for a little while. Was like, I did know, it's like, okay, can only have so much, not even time, but energy, I find.
Yeah.
Is it like, you only have so much energy in a day and a week to put into things. So I find that's even more valuable than time.
What are some of your biggest struggles been so far?
In the last few months?
Yeah, last 6 months, man. Like, let's assume that you've been flirting with the idea of coaching being a legitimate career for a long time, but it's only 6 months that you really started putting your feet on the ground and building it. Is that accurate to say?
Absolutely.
What are the biggest struggles been for you so far?
I think it's been a big adjustment. Really, like, kind of taking on like the entrepreneurship mindset.
Interesting. So shifting from I work for someone else to I'm in control of my own success kind of thing?
Yes. Okay. And we're like, when I was just doing the schooling, it's just kind of assignments first. I have a few hours of work.
I see.
So I have the assignments to do. I have my clients. That is priority. Fill in the gaps with everything else in my schedule. And now it's with being the entrepreneur, you're like, there's always something to do. There's always better systems to create to make things more efficient, make things better for a client, like education and everything. So...
Hey, it's Dr. Sean here reminding you that if you are a coach who wants to fill the gap neglected by fitness and healthcare, and you want to make a career doing it, we might be able to help you. Head to the show notes. There's a link there. You're going to click that link to download the ALP curriculum. That's the stuff that we teach to coaches over the course of 13 months to turn them into world-class professionals who never have to worry about missing a paycheck again, doing work they love to do. Go ahead and check that out, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's get you back to the show.
It's kind of never ending.
Is that a hard shift for you?
I think it was new. It was very new. Like, you know, in my family, like no entrepreneurship type thing. So it's
different mindset, eh?
Yeah, something I hadn't seen and something I had to figure out.
How's my A, by the way, as a Canadian? Is that
good.
A good?
That was great.
Natural?
Yeah.
Okay. So something you had to figure out because like family isn't giving you tips on it.
No. Yeah. Something I hadn't seen anybody else go through firsthand. So it's been great. I absolutely love it.
What are some of the biggest takeaways that you've had so far? Some of the biggest shifts, because right now there are a lot of 20-somethings who are in a position where they're like, this is where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to put something together, but they see the difference between I'm just figuring stuff out and this, like even hearing you say like put systems together, I think is foreign for some people. So like what are some of the biggest bullet points that you found have been absolutely crucial in allowing you to say, I am on a clear trajectory to the career that I want?
Ooh, okay. And I want to make sure I
Is
understand
that a clear question? Yeah, ask me again. Made great sense in my head.
Okay. No, it was great. Felt like there's a couple layers to it.
You challenged me. Go ahead.
Perfect. So first one, like, how did I know I needed more systems, or like knew I needed systems?
No, not even. Like,
Okay.
how did you? I appreciate you reflecting that. The real question is, what are some of the biggest things that you've realized
Yes.
are crucial, have been crucial, for you to realize you are on a clear path to the career you actually want to have, as opposed to,
Yeah.
this is cool, hopefully it could be something.
Yeah, I'm very much like, you know, for me, I need to see, there, you know, and you need to accomplish it by merit. Like, you know, you need like have some results going in the direction of where you want to go.
Okay.
You know, so for me, it was, you know, first step, it was that, I don't know if you remember talking about this with me on the discovery call, but
Sure do.
first thing was I had to get busy. Like I needed to increase my workload just to
Cover
be
costs.
doing it, to cover costs, and also, you know, be practicing enough.
Oh, it's just to get reps.
Right?
I see.
Yeah. So like I think when I started, I went from like 3 clients to like 13 now.
Yeah, like not a long amount of time, man.
No. And so that's been huge.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And you had 3 clients for how long?
For a while.
How long's a while?
So like, you know, one of my clients now, I've probably been training for 1.5 years. Longest client. I've always, in the last few years, I've worked with people for a good stretch of time.
But always about 3 clients at a time?
About 3 clients.
So for the last
at a
few
time.
years, you've had about 3 clients.
Yep.
In the last 6 months, you've gained 10.
Yep.
And now you have 13.
Yeah.
What did you start doing?
A few things. I think it was a confidence thing a little bit.
Where did you get it?
You know, I don't know. I think it was maybe just a bit of like dumb optimism too, starting. But just, I think it was also like a mindset shift, being like, you know, I'm all in. Like,
Well, how did you get to
committing.
yourself at that point? Because this is always the jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
This is always the jump off the cliff that's really hard to describe. And people are always looking for a logical reason why they should do it. And I don't always know that there is one.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes you can create one, and so you could probably create 10 logical reasons not to do something for every one reason that you can.
Absolutely.
You were at the edge of the cliff. This mindset shift you were talking about, where you decided it's going to be all in. What brought you there?
Yeah. I think it was a few things.
Okay.
I think I knew I wanted to be all in, and I think I knew what all in looked like. And I had a few hesitancies or a few things I wasn't doing that I wanted to be doing. And once I realized that, I was like, okay, if it's as simple as this is what I want to do, and I'm not doing it because I think of, was actually, you know, one piece of advice, and Dr. Sean gave it. He didn't give it directly to me, but that was, you know, act like you've already been canceled, essentially. And for me, that was like,
Yep, that sounds like
I'd been coaching in the space, and you know, I knew I was like, okay, I want to be more active on social media, right? And so it was as simple as like, you know, I hesitate to post something because I think, oh, somebody's gonna take it this way, and that's, you know, so silly. It's ridiculous.
Well, this leads into a question that I wanted to ask you that I think is directly tied into you deciding to jump off the cliff. Like, you're in a position where you're working in someone else's gym, you're still finishing university, you realize that you want to go all in on a career because you want to go all in on a career, and you know that you have to make the jump. You know that you have to start taking serious action to do it. You even understand what's required to do it.
Yeah.
At this point, there is compelling enough vision
Yeah,
And I'm sure there's plenty of doubt and fear.
absolutely.
What were some of those?
It's funny because I think before starting there was a lot, and then once I started, they kind of cleared away, and it was just okay. Back against the wall, like you need to just look forward and make it work instead of
Before you
even
started
worrying
and your
about-
back was against the wall, what were the biggest doubts and fears that you had? Because it sounds like
Yeah.
once you were in the corner, you were like, well, I'm getting out of this corner.
Okay, so you're right, and I think the doubts and fear were, I'm going to start this, having not being able to afford it, and I won't get one more client or two more clients, and 1, 2, 3 months in, that would stop me.
Well, so you're talking about our education now, ILP, but I want you to pretend that
yeah.
we weren't even talking about that, and we were just talking about the doubts and fears that you would have needed to face either way, whether you were hiring our help
Yeah.
or not.
Gotcha.
Can you see any as being the same? Like, can you still see?
I do a little bit, right?
Go ahead.
I think, not taking enough action, because you need to take action. You need to have conversations.
So the fear was taking that action? Like the doubts were in your ability to take that action?
Yeah, I think either not taking the action or not being able to communicate what I could do for people.
Oh, I see.
And not getting enough people enrolled
That's a big
to
one,
actually
eh?
see, because I know I could get the results for people. So I think it was, one, not believing there's enough people to help in my area.
Did you find that to be bullshit?
I did.
How did you realize that?
I knew. I think I now believe that to be bullshit because I'm in
Please don't talk like
Caledonia.
that on this podcast. No cursing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was definitely one thought I had.
Okay.
Was I'm in a smaller town. Not enough people will want this, which is just false.
How did you realize that was false? Because there are a lot of people like, I don't have enough people here.
Yeah,
People aren't going to pay that.
I think a little bit of it is, like I said, I need to experience the results. I'm a slow learner. So it was like, getting 3, 4 discovery calls in a week and enrolling 2 or 3 of them.
Life changing, right?
Yeah. And like, if you have 2 discovery calls, 2 assessments in a day and you enroll 2 people, like you're like, okay, those 2 people
Double your business?
took up my whole, double my business. That was a whole day of just meeting these people, having a conversation.
What a
for
good day.
1-2 hours, enrolling them. And it's like, okay, there are more people out there. Like if I do so well with these people that they have to tell all their friends, all their family, there are more people. Like so that excuse of there's not enough people is just never true.
So this thank you for saying that. Finally, people could stop just listening to me say it. You were in a position where you were like, okay, the next chunky, heavy goal is I literally just need to get myself 2 more clients. I'm committing to get myself 2 more clients.
Yeah.
You get yourself 2 more clients, and then you realize I can get as many clients as I need.
Yeah.
If you can get 2, you can get more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It really is like a multiplier effect, right? Like 1, 2, it compounds like that.
And you did that all the way to getting yourself 13 from 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think as you go along, where like those systems come into play is you can do testimonials and other things, and that makes it more easy to get the lead. And 2, like the reps make a huge difference. I remember my first couple discovery calls, consults, and I'm like, oh man, it took that long, not because it needed to, but because I was terrible at it.
Yeah.
And so you get better so much, so quickly. And
Like
then
walking as a toddler for the first couple times, right?
Yes.
Oh, I know, man.
Oh yeah, it's just like falling over. But it gets better. Yeah.
What have some of the biggest turning points or epiphanies or realizations been for you over the last 6 months as you start to get more and more reps in? Is this like, how has your perspective and your confidence and your clarity as a coach and the future that you're building right now changed?
Huge. I think I'm a totally different coach just in a few short months.
In what ways?
Kind of how sure I am in myself, in my ability, and my confidence in like how I can communicate with somebody like that. Somebody who doesn't know what our gym is about, what I'm about. I can meet them and then, tell them what we're about, and communicate kind of, hey, whether we're a good fit or not, we'll set you, it's worth it to have the call, worth it to have the assessment,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll make sure
Wow.
we refer you to, the best place. And at the end of that assessment, you'll know what you would need to do based on our findings, whether that's with us or not. We'll send you to the right place.
So it sounds like you're in 6 years. In the past 6 months, there have been a couple major changes. One of them has been your ability to effectively communicate and earn the kind of trust with people that allows them to understand that you're not just going to try to sell anyone who has a pulse and a credit card.
Correct.
But you now feel skillful enough in conversation that you can find out what they need and refer them where they need to go if it's not you.
Yeah.
And if it is you, help them realize why it's such a good idea to become your client.
Yes. And I think for a long time, I've had a lot of the practical skills.
Mm-hmm.
And, if I never got the communication skills and then the business skills to be able to kind of level up how many people I can help at a time, I would still be in that cycle of, well, I'm just going to have to wait until the right person falls in my lap that I can help, right? As now I feel like I can better go out, find this person, and enroll them for what they need.
I feel like you're like 20 to 30% towards like the first major career milestone or goal that you want to have right now. I don't know if that feels accurate to you. Is it more or less?
I don't know, maybe close. Yeah.
30, 40%?
Maybe. Yeah.
Less? Say less. That's cool too.
Maybe 20, 30.
Okay,
I don't
I
know.
like it.
I'm definitely on the right path now.
That's
the first
clear.
time I can say
but
that.
That's clear, right? Like
Yeah.
60, like you basically went from, I don't want to get too much into it. I mean, but you certainly for the past 6 years have not been making the kind of money as a coach that was going to leave you feeling like you could plan for a family, house, or vacation.
No.
So in the past 6 months, you're well on your way towards being able to do that, but nowhere near there.
Correct.
I think that that's so cool because a lot of people are like, well, a lot of people are really close and you just like tore away, but they can still see you. Like you're still accessible to a lot of people who are where you were even 6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that you are so sure that in relatively short order, I would even say maybe the next 6 months based on how you've been behaving,
I hope so.
you might actually have the kind of life that allows you to plan for family, house, vacation, investment, things like that?
Yeah.
Like, why are you so sure about that right now?
Yeah. I think I can see the path better than ever. And
I see.
so, and I know now like the steps to get there.
Is that because it feels like you're on it already?
Yes. I'm on it early in the path, but I know the steps. I see what it takes to get there. And so I just have to keep going and keep doing the reps, keep learning. And so I know I'm on the right path finally. And so that's kind of exciting.
One of the things that I want to ask you to wrap this is, most people that are listening to this that are going to relate to your position, they're interested in business success and all the success that business brings them, or everything that business success affords them. But what we've found over and over again, and we've said over and over again, is that business success often follows your own growth as a person. Like personal development affects business development.
Yeah.
First and foremost and always and intensely. Business success and growth aside, what would you say have been the biggest ways that you've developed as a person over the last 6 to 12 months that have either that have been a huge part of why you're succeeding in business?
Yeah. I think I've realized that it is self-development that makes you better at business, better at anything that you do. And so actually, like, not that it's part of my curriculum, but it's part of like my day-to-day, my week-to-week, is doing things to develop myself, like things that I want to be doing. Just going out, doing things, living your life. And I think too, like with what I do, coaching, is, helping clients develop themselves too, like changing my own, and it starts with me, changing my own beliefs and actions and habits.
What have some of the most important changes been in that way?
For myself?
Yeah.
I think a few different things. Things that maybe I put off doing that I knew were good. Reading a little bit more is one of them.
Okay.
I used all the schooling as an excuse. I read enough textbooks. I don't need to read.
What do you like to read? Like personal development stuff?
A little bit of personal development stuff.
Comic books?
Comic books, yes. No. Some different shows too, but just like both taking time for myself, because like I know if I'm doing the reps, if I'm working hard enough, still need to have that healthy selfishness too.
So it sounds like one of the big shifts for you has been you prioritizing your own self-care and your own interest outside of work.
Yeah. Like, getting very busy with all the work and the school, still taking time to develop myself. Like, still making things, going out with my girlfriend, doing things that I need to get done in a week so that I, can still ask of my clients that they're doing things to develop themselves.
Respect. What's your girlfriend's name?
Kennedy.
Mm-hmm. Has she noticed any changes?
I think so. Yeah.
What would she say has been the biggest impact that she's noticed is with you as her partner in the last 6 months? Because anything you go through, your family's going through, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And she's had a lot of career changes and things going on for herself as well.
Okay.
So we're both kind of in that stage of life where we're actively trying to make change. I guess one of the things is self-development wise is I'm making more of a schedule for myself.
Okay.
It's like I'm really trying to work during the day so that, in the evenings we have to ourselves. And so that's one thing, so I can show up for work and my clients all day. And then when I'm done work for the day, I can just be there for her and we can hang out and have that time on the weekends as well.
So she might notice that you have a more frequent and better quality presence.
Yeah. I hope so.
It's a big one, man.
Yeah, that's one I've wanted.
Ask her if you're not sure.
Yeah,
it sounds like
I will.
Yeah. I mean, you say you hope so. I think that you probably do, but you might not be giving yourself the credit. But I think that's a huge one.
Yeah.
What would you tell Nathan 4 or 5 years ago? It can be whatever you want. You don't got to give me one word.
I don't know. But probably, have some more uncomfortable conversations.
That's been a big one for you, eh?
Yeah. I think it's just an important one. Having those conversations with people you don't know or people you've just met.
You're talking about like a stranger at the coffee shop?
Yeah. Yeah. That's something like that's a big one for me. Like, trying to, that's another bit of advice I had heard, I think, from probably Dr. Sean, giving him a few, credits here.
Hey, he's been inspiring to many of us.
Absolutely. But he said, be the mayor of your town, and he didn't mean actually be the mayor of your town, but for me too, working here, it's a different town than I'm from. So in Caledonia, that is, and so I was like, anybody I know in this town, I know through the gym in some shape or form, basically, and I'm like, I want to change that, meet, so if I go to the same place for lunch once a week. I should know their names.
And what they like.
Yeah,
and their families' names.
Yeah, and exactly. I'm like, I know all my clients' family names. And so I'm like, I should be curious, ask everybody, right? So that's another one that's helped with the self-development.
It's major. So, in other words, more openly and positively just connecting with people.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's another one too, is like even people who I maybe knew as like acquaintance, reaching out, like trying to start a conversation, like, hey, I know of you, this is how I know of you, and starting a connection there, like trying to go deeper. Yeah, something I previously 4 years ago, et cetera, wouldn't have done, and maybe wouldn't have done if something hadn't changed in the last 6 months.
Nathan, I think that your focus, your attitude, your consistency and the action that you take and your intent to do it well as consistently you do is model worthy, man. Yeah. I really appreciate you sharing this. And I want anyone that wants to be able to pick up in this relatively early journey and follow it. Where should people, whether people want to follow you or learn from you or pick your brain, where should they find you?
My Instagram, nathangreener.training. And I've got a website now too.
Hey, look at this guy.
CoachNathanGreener.com.
Okay.
If you want to know a little bit more about my work, who I work with. But yeah, if anybody had any questions,
we'll make sure.
Instagram would be the best one.
We'll make sure that we link that so people can just follow along or learn from you, whatever it is. Appreciate you taking the time for this, man.
Hey, thank you, Larry.
All right, bro.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Active Life podcast. If you did, please head to wherever you listen and leave us that 5-star rating. It really does go a long way. 5 stars goes a long way. Please leave them. If you're interested in working with us as a coach, remember, we help coaches from around the world build fulfilling careers, working with clients they're inspired to help so they never have to worry about being able to pay your bills again. No one's ever going to ask you if you're going to get a real job when you work with Active Life. All you have to do, head into the show notes, click the link that you find there, download our curriculum. That will give you a feel for what it is going to take for you to be successful. A team member of ours will reach out to you to find out if it's a fit for us to work together. Till the next show, turn pro.